Vegito finally unfused. Goku and Vegeta are back. But there is one last loose end, that being Frieza. We'll be seeing all that and more in this final part of What If Vegito Never Unfused. A good amount of time passes. Back on Earth, the events of Super Hero happen like normal. At least, at first they go like normal. It actually is a little bit easier for Gohan and Piccolo to handle, and Gohan's involved right from the get-go. It does get to a point where Cell Max eventually awakens though, and Gohan and Piccolo do have kind of a tough time handling this. But out of nowhere, somebody else arrives to save them. Actually, two people. Gohan and Piccolo don't recognize them at first, but then they remember. It's two of Goku and Vegeta's friends. Piccolo actually did want to contact Goku and Vegeta, but couldn't get to them. Turns out they were in the middle of fighting each other just like normal, and they were really serious about finishing this fight. So serious that no one even noticed what was going on with Earth. All the way on Beerus' planet, Granolah sensed it and let Broly know. He decided the two of them should go check it out even though they didn't know exactly what was going on. Using instant transmission, they got to Earth, and the first thing they see is a giant kaiju raging around, destroying everything. Gohan and Piccolo are about to tell them about the weak spot on Cell Max's head, which Gamma 2 was just aiming to destroy. But before they even say anything, Granolah already knows where the weak spot is. By now he has awakened his second red eye. But even with one red eye, he could point out the weak spot pretty easily. He aims a shot and asks Broly to stick a hand out too. Together the two of them launch a beam, with Granolah guiding Broly's beam as well. The attacks swirl together, and they easily cut through Cell Max's head, destroying him in one shot. It's kind of surprising to them because these two showed up with no warning, and they pretty much solved this right away. They are very serious about their fights. No questions asked, no nonsense, they were just here for a few minutes and solved that threat. Granolah apologizes for being so abrupt. He feels bad coming in like that, but still, he didn't really want to take any risk with that, and he assumed that guy was a threat. Well, clearly he was. Well, if that's all, he's gonna head back to Beerus' planet. Before Gohan and Piccolo or the Gammas could even say anything, Granolah and Broly teleport right back to Beerus' planet, with the two of them waving goodbye. This just leaves Gohan and Piccolo kind of perplexed because not only are they clearly really strong on their own, but they solve that with such ease too. Given the people that they're friends with and surround themselves with, it makes sense they'd be a little bit weirded out by seeing someone finish a fight that quickly with no questions asked. There's always some bit of chicanery involved. On Beerus' planet, the four of them are all working on getting stronger. No one has a clue of what he's capable of or if he's even training more because he might be getting even stronger than he is now, so they don't really want to take any risks. Plus, Goku and Vegeta are working on something new. Not too long after the events of Super Hero, the time finally comes. Frieza arrives on Earth, pretty much out of the blue. Right off the bat, there's two people there to defend against him, Gohan and Piccolo. Gohan's the first to speak with Frieza. He guesses Frieza has some sort of new form, right? He heard the news from Goku and Vegeta when they were briefly on Earth last time. They have spent a lot of time with Beerus and Whis. But once they finally unfused after so long, they did of course want to come back to Earth. He does want to buy some time because whatever new form it is that Frieza has, Gohan doesn't know if he can actually handle it. Frieza first goes golden, just to display how strong he's grown even without his new form. Gohan and Piccolo are actually able to fight him in this, although it is pretty tough because he does have the upper hand. But this is good, they could buy some time like this. They're mainly trying to use his power and their power as a beacon for Goku, Vegeta, Granolah, and Broly. Maybe like last time they'll sense a fight going on Earth and just teleport there. And they are able to put in a good effort, but Frieza then stops playing around, finally transforming into his black form. He simply holds a hand out, and without even making contact with them, a single air blast takes both of them out of the battle, knocking them to the ground. It's so strong. It's just an air blast, but it feels like he just increased the gravity around them. Can Goku and Vegeta really handle this? And just as they're defeated, help arrives. Granolah and Broly are back. Weirdly enough, no Goku and Vegeta. Piccolo asks where they are, and Granolah clearly is nervous. Not nervous about fighting Frieza, but rather nervous about the fact that Goku and Vegeta couldn't make it. Broly explains that they were practicing something new and it didn't really go as planned, so they need a little bit of time before they can come here. Granolah says it's good that Gohan and Piccolo bought some time, but they still need to buy a little bit more time. Gohan asks if the two of them will be able to do that, and Granolah's honestly not too sure. They've grown a lot stronger, but he doesn't know if they'll be able to fight Frieza like this. But at the very least, they should be able to buy some sort of time for Goku and Vegeta. But Granolah's confident. Once the two of them are here, they'll win. Maybe not easily, but they will win. He's seen what they're capable of, and Broly agrees too. Frieza, of course, hears all this. I mean, he's right in earshot. And he's intrigued by this information. Alright, he should honestly just kill them right away, but he does want to kill Goku and Vegeta at their strongest. Although, it's interesting too. They said Goku and Vegeta, not Vegito. Did the two of them finally unfuse? That's good news for him. He hoped to kill Vegito at his strongest just to prove his superiority, but it looks like he might have trained a little bit too much. He trained in preparation for fighting Vegito at his strongest because he assumed Vegeta would be here and would be stronger than before. But if it's just Granolah, Broly, Goku, and Vegeta, he's not going to have a problem at all. Black Frieza starts fighting the two of them. Broly has some sort of weird green-haired Super Saiyan form. Not only has he mastered Super Saiyan, but he's completely mastered his full power by now. As for Granola, he's fighting with his double red eyes, and he's fighting really well against Frieza too. Even with a difference in power, all of his attacks are basically critical hits because he can see all of Frieza's weak points. Issue is, there aren't many weak points and they're kind of hard to exploit, especially with Frieza's speed. But when Granola does hit them, it does some sort of damage to Frieza, which is the best they could really do for now. Maybe they actually can wear him down. It's a long shot, but still, there's a chance. Plus, Frieza is clearly playing around with them right now. He's getting a little bit too cocky, especially thinking that he's already won. Plus, he would rather kill everyone at once to assert dominance, rather than just kill them all one by one, since that wouldn't really be satisfying. He really wants to show them how strong he's grown. Broly is able to heal Gohan and Piccolo. Thanks to learning Spirit Control, they can heal others, although it's not something they could just use over and over again. It is pretty draining, especially with people at that level. So they will be able to heal each other for the time being, but they won't be able to do it consistently. This keeps them all in the battle a bit longer. Plus, Gohan actually does grow stronger once getting healed too. Gohan does feel a reserve of power deep within him, like there's some sort of power that he still hasn't awakened yet, but for some reason he can't really grasp it. But then he comes to realize, he's not the main focus of this What If. He's not getting beast, is he? Piccolo asks him what the hell he's talking about. Anyways, they continue their fight. And amidst the 4v1, Goku and Vegeta arrive. They immediately power up. Goku shows off that same white-haired form Vegito had, and Vegeta shows off a purple-haired form. Each have seemingly gone down their own path in terms of power. Nothing Frieza can't fight. Goku's movements are pretty fast, and he definitely has a lot of skill. But with the gap in power between him and Frieza, it's not really enough to dodge everything he's dishing out. As for Vegeta with his new form Ultra Ego, this actually really does help in this battle, and Frieza can see they clearly have retained a lot of Vegito's power. And they have. Considering the two of them were fused for so long, anything Vegito knew is something that they now know. Frieza then lands a hit on Goku, but as he lands the hit, Goku's aura suddenly changes. Frieza feels pain when he gets in contact with it, and he looks at Goku and sees that he has the same purple-haired form Vegeta has. On a whim, right when he got hit, he switched to Ultra Ego, and he turns around to see Vegeta attacking him, now with that same white hair that Goku had. He's using Ultra Instinct, and the two have each other to thank for this. Had they not been fused together for so long, they don't know if they could have pulled off both forms. They still can't use them both at once, but still. They have access to both forms and can turn them on individually, swapping between the two as necessary. But even with this, it's not really enough to fight Frieza right now. It does help a lot though, and they do a lot more damage than Granola and Broly did. But Frieza still does have the edge, although he's finally losing ground for once. Which kind of worries him. He thought he'd be able to fight both of them when they're separate, but he can't. This should be a much easier fight for him, but they're actually challenging him. And then, a bunch of Goku and Vegeta start popping up. Frieza attacks all of them, and they're weak. They die in one shot. Right now, Goku and Vegeta keep cloning themselves as distractions. And then, weirdly enough, all the clones of Goku and Vegeta start performing a weird dance. Frieza tries destroying them all, but he can't get everyone in time, which includes the real version of Goku and Vegeta hidden away from him. A powerful glow illuminates the area. Hopefully this time they got it right. A new fighter appears on the battlefield, with Goku and Vegeta completely gone now. They didn't really want to rely on this, but they always had it as a last resort. The two have fused into Gogeta with the fusion dance. This is surprising to Frieza because it looks different than the last fusion, but clearly the two of them are merged together again. So Gogeta explains. Back on Beerus' planet, they just tested this out. They sensed Frieza coming to Earth, and they knew that they might need to use the fusion dance as a last resort. They could have used Potara, but they couldn't get them on short notice, and they didn't really want to risk that again. With fusion, they at least know that it's not permanent. At least Goku did. After being merged together with Vegeta for so long, Goku assumed that Vegeta knew the fusion dance. And he did. He had one memory of Goku learning it. But Vegito never practiced it, and by extension, Vegeta never practiced it. You see, after being Vegito for so long, they picked up on a lot of Vegito's techniques. And the two of them even picked up on each other's techniques, but they didn't learn each other's techniques perfectly, because they still just existed as memories in their mind. As Vegito, both of them actually experienced things, but as Goku and Vegeta, those experiences were separate. Goku assumed that Vegeta knew the fusion dance by default, but really, he didn't. Vegeta assumed they would defeat Frieza individually, but Goku wanted this backup plan. He should have asked sooner though, because now he's realizing Vegeta doesn't know the fusion dance fully. So this was really bad timing, and at the 11th hour, they had to practice the fusion dance. Granola and Broly went to Earth. And they failed the fusion dance a few times, but with Force Spirit Fission, it wasn't too big of an issue. Although, activating Force Spirit Fission on themselves was really draining and took longer than activating on someone else. So they needed some breathers in between, with Whis also healing them a bunch. Just so they'd be back at full stamina. And that's why they took so long to get here. They needed to make sure they had this perfect, because if they didn't, and they ended up needing it as a last resort, they would have been screwed. It's weird, they spent so long preparing and everything, but the one thing they actually did really need most is the one thing that they forgot to train with. For a multitude of reasons, but hey, better late than never. And thankfully this attempt at the fusion dance worked. They really did want to defeat Frieza individually because that would have been a lot more satisfying. It looks like this is really the only option though. Frieza finds this pretty amusing because first of all, he actually does get to fight them fused like he wanted. But why fuse again? Didn't they want to get unfused for a while? Well yeah, they did want to go back to normal, and they did. First of all, the fusion dance isn't permanent. Second of all, this means they get to test the full power like they never got to with Vegito. This might not be the same as being Vegito, but the power is similar. So they could have fun with that. And third, the most important reason, they could finish this fight as Gogeta regardless. It's a guaranteed win and a guaranteed fun battle. Gogeta immediately goes all out. With power like this, it's going to run out the fusion really quick, but it doesn't matter. He only needs a few seconds. The final phase of the battle begins. It's so fast that Gohan and Piccolo lose sight of it. Even Broly's having a hard time keeping up, and Granola can only see it because of how good his eyesight is. Gogeta tries something weird. He's not too sure if it'll work, but it'll be fun to at least test out here. Normally, combining these two powers is impossible, but with the two of them merged and in perfect harmony, not just with each other but themselves, there's a chance it could work. Gogeta's aura turns into that of Ultra Instinct, but then gets fiery purple flames around it like Ultra Ego. His eyes flash a purple color, and his hair changes to a light silvery purple color, flowing like Ultra Instinct, but with subtle ferocity from Ultra Ego. It feels a little bit unstable, but they have control of it, at least for a little bit. All the way on Beerus' planet, Whis could sense this. This is new. This is something he's never seen before, as expected of his two-star students. This is Gogeta's peak, an unnamed form that he's never accessed before. A perfect harmonic combination of Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct. Frieza's taken aback and, weirdly enough, feels fear for the first time in a while. Gogeta doesn't even say anything, effortlessly hitting Frieza with a barrage of attacks, quickly chipping away at him. Then a clone of him splits out, going over to the other four on the ground. He holds out a single hand, healing all of them at once. Now he wants to involve them in this fight too. He tells them all to put a hand on his back and lend their energy. Acting as a beacon, this clone of Gogeta sends his energy to the main Gogeta. He wards Frieza off with a single hand, completely overwhelming him, and he lifts up his other hand to gather all of the energy. It swirls around in his hand, first as a fiery rainbow ball of energy, slowly consumed by the flames of Ultra Ego, but then calming down with the serenity of Ultra Instinct. Gogeta then crushes it in his hand. His arm is moving so rapidly that it didn't even appear like he had an arm. That's how fast he was punching Frieza. But he stops, quickly swapping to his other arm, holding out a hand in front of him, smirking as he lightly taps Frieza. His finishing move, the Stardust Destruction, imbued with destructive energy as well, but even that's unnecessary. That's kind of overkill. The regular blast alone would have been enough. The second it makes contact with Frieza, he's eradicated. It's almost like he just vanishes on sight. The others are a bit terrified as they watch because of how abrupt it is. And right after this attack, Gogeta defuses. Goku and Vegeta are back to themselves. And Vegeta tells Goku that's the last time he's ever fusing. And that's fine with Goku. He agrees to that too. They only did use that for the 3 reasons Gogeta listed before. The two of them wanted to be back to themselves for so long, and they're not going to take that for granted. They only did this out of necessity and curiosity. But now, they could finally live as Goku and Vegeta once more. Broly could take solace in the fact that he's on Earth now, living a much better life than before. And as for Granola, he could take solace in the fact that he got his life back too, as well as the fact that he actually trained to get stronger this time around, and was able to help defeat Frieza in the process. But even with the new heights Goku and Vegeta have reached, they still have further to go. Gogeta and Vegito have shown them that. While there were downsides about being Vegito, there still were a ton of upsides too. And they find it kind of funny that they did have to rely on fusion in the end once more. But as they promised each other here, that will be the last time. Individually, the two of them will become greater than any fusion ever. Both times in life where they had to rely on fusion, it resulted in them saving Earth and everything else, as well as growing a lot stronger, so in the end it was worth it, even with all the baggage. And Whis is glad to see what his students have achieved. Hopefully they could achieve exactly what Gogeta did in that battle, whatever that new combined form was. And while it's a happy ending for everyone else, Beerus is really disappointed and mad. He wants to fight Gogeta, but the two of them are not going to fuse again. And Vegeta was of course gone too. Those might have been the only two people that could have ever beaten him, and he's never going to see them again. He really hopes Goku and Vegeta are serious about surpassing those two fusions. But that remains to be seen. With that, we end off the scenario here. What'd you guys think about this story? This one was more focused on fun than realism, and I had fun with it, so hopefully you did too. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel and lets me know you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the scenario all the way through, and I'll see you all in my next video.